keep that YouTube content.
Yeah, once I eventually get there. Yeah, no worries, dude. No worries. How's the art coming along?
It's coming. I'm mostly practicing. Like you saw I don't know if you saw Hulk.
You need to share that windmill picture you did to the group.
Windmill?
It's a work in progress.
I don't care. It's awesome. Just let everybody know it's a sketch.
Yeah, let us see Zavanis. I want to see what Zavanis' windmill looks like.
It's not your windmill anymore.
I know, right? You gave
We're
that right
gonna
up,
find a way.
Yeah.
So I wish that Dorn was here because I had a plan with that. Maybe I'll text him on the side. I didn't want to bother him. He's sick.
See if he'll answer.
Okay.
He's at least in Discord, so see if he'll answer.
Okay.
There it is.
That's it so far.
There it is. Digging it, man.
Oh, I gotta see. Hold on. Zoom. Where is it? Did you share it?
It's in Discord.
Oh, it's in Discord. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like it a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
So, Abe, I don't know if you realize this or not, but everybody who has seen the artwork that Rick has been working on that knows him well has determined that when he drew your character portrait, he just drew a self-portrait. It's basically Rick when he was 20.
Right on, man. Hopefully I'll be able to represent Rick well.
All right. Amani, are you ready?
Yes, I'm just sending Jeff a message.
Okay. Oh, when you toggle away from Zoom, does it take away your video?
Yeah, it takes away video. That's why it sometimes shuts off video.
That's cool.
Because I'm on the phone.
All right, let's see here. Everybody was here last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here.
Okay.
I was born here.
So
You pretty much know we are basically being tied up against our will and making the deal with the devil. So that's where we left off.
no, the devil is Strahd.
I know. This is, well, many little devils. How about that?
Yeah, devils, but not the devil.
Correct.
Evil with capital
Correct.
D.
I mean, technically, if you want to get
Correct.
into it, there's like 9 different devils because there's different layers of hell.
But there's still
I was
a devil.
being
There is
broad.
one devil that rules over all of them.
Of
I
Barovia.
know.
Wait, Strahd is like above all the devils of the abyss?
No.
You shall not be named.
So the devils aren't in the abyss. Demons are in the abyss.
Oh, devils are in
the 9 hells.
got
But then
it.
there is Asmodeus is like Satan. He is the devil.
I thought it was Asmodeus, but I wasn't sure if he was like just in control of the most powerful level of hell, which I guess would also make him like the king of hell.
Like he is the king of hell, but he at least the way that the lore is set up right now, he's basically like an absentee landlord.
Yeah,
he's just chilling down in the 9th level of hell, saying, "I don't really give a shit unless you piss me off." Basically,
you do your shit, and I'm just gonna sit here.
Just don't step on my toes, and we'll be fine. Kind of situation.
I do really like what Wizards did with the demons and the devils. How it's like demons are like chaotic evil, and devils are lawful evil.
Right.
Which is kind of funny, but it's like, so if you make a deal with the devil, it could actually go pretty well for you if you work correctly.
At the very least, you should have a general idea of what to expect, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you make a deal with a demon, you're just really ignorant or really stupid because they don't give a crap about it.
Really desperate.
Or really desperate, right? And you're just hoping that you'll be able to get yours before they stab you in the back.
Exactly.
All right, so everybody's logged in. All good to go there. Okay, so quick recap. So last couple of sessions, you all interacted with some women who were running a bakery out of this old windmill, discovered that they had some children locked in cages on the top floor, on the 3rd floor, I should say.
Yeah.
through some investigation and some insight and whatnot, you all decided, okay, these chicks are probably not good people. We think that they're probably witches or something, and they're baking children into their pies. We need to figure out how to get these kids out. You made a really valiant effort to do so. Zavanis, Abe, and Dorn's little companion, Czar, trying to get up to the third floor to release the kids, while Familia and Kaylin and Dorn and Irina tried to distract the women on the first floor. Unfortunately, through some maybe poorly thought out decision making and a little bit of bad luck, instead of freeing the children, you just sort of scared the crap out of them, and they inadvertently alerted the women that something was amiss, which led to these three women transforming into horrifying horned hags, which, to the best of anyone's knowledge, are fairy creatures. And you fought them because you had no choice. And within less than 60 seconds time, they managed to disable all of you, apart from Zavanis and Kaylin, who they offered the opportunity to surrender and parlay effectively. And Zavanis and Kaylin, realizing that they were the only ones left fighting and that they had zero chance of success and staying alive, agreed under duress to those conditions, allowed themselves to be bound with rope and brought into the mill. You all have since been transported up to the second story. You have been bound, each of you, tightly with rope, and sat sort of against the curved wall of the building, while the stone grain mill slowly rotates in the middle of the room, grinding white flour into ever finer dust. Most of you are still asleep. The eldest of the three women, who has been introduced to all of you as Granny Morga, and her two daughters, return to their humanoid, not even humanoid, to their human guise, and approach Zavanis and Kaylin. One of them looks at Zavanis and walks over to stand right above him, reaches into her pouch and pulls out a small handful of dust and blows it into his face. And Zavanis falls asleep.
Yeah. Is it magic?
What's your question?
Is it magic?
It is not magic. It is chemical.
It is alchemy.
It is effectively powdered heroin.
Okay.
Ooh.
You just get really tired and fall asleep.
Now it's a party.
All right.
Wow.
At this point, let me get to my chatting screen here. Hold on a second. Where is it? Down here. Oh, did I? Please tell me I didn't lose all of that stuff I had prepared. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Bear with me a minute.
Hold on a second.
Yep. Oh, it's not there. Where did I save it? Did I save it somewhere else? Yes, here maybe. Oh, thank God. Ooh, I was about to freak out. It's like an hour's worth of writing.
Oh.
right, Rick, you back? You're on mute. I don't know if it's intentional or not. Okay, he's not ready yet.
Yes, for now.
Okay. So once Savanas falls asleep, Morgantha walks up to you and she stands over you with a sweet smile curving across her lips. And she says, "Now, dearie, you all came into my house uninvited. Your friends literally burgled their way into my house, attempted to harm children under my control, under my care, and then attempted to end the lives of myself and my daughters. While I am willing, under the right agreement, not to take your life in payment for these slights, we're going to have to come to an arrangement. Do you understand?"
Okay, I'm not available. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Okay. While he's doing his thing, I'll switch to somebody else. So effectively what they're doing is they're going around the room, waking one of you up at a time to have this conversation privately. Okay. I'm going to allow you all to hear everybody's conversations because I think you all can separate your knowledge from your character's knowledge, but this is what's happening. So Abe, effectively the same conversation. You wake up. You're leaned against a wall. You hear the grinding sound of the windmill in the center of the room slowly turning. You hear the caws of ravens faintly through the walls and the windows around you. Those three women, they look just like women at this point, standing before you. And you are bound tightly and sitting sort of sat with your arms behind your back, leaned against a wall. And
he looks around, he's like, well, I guess it is safe to assume that we lost the fight.
Very wise, dear. Very wise. Yes, it is safe to assume. A fight you should not have chosen to pick in the first place, if I do say so. One such as yourself, I would think, to know better.
Debatable.
Having difficulty finding her voice again. It's a bit like Mrs. Doubtfire, but I can't pick up on it. So we're not going to worry about it for tonight. She gives you effectively the same ultimatum. You all chose to pick a fight that you lost. You threatened her lives and the lives of her daughters, and you broke into her property.
This is true. You are not incorrect, but at the same time, I feel like we were rather justified in our actions. First of all, you were living in the windmill that wasn't yours. Secondly, you were keeping children in cages. That never looks good. Despite your shallow explanations as to why you would do that. So, from our perspective, and what is still my perspective, because, I mean, let's be honest, you present a much different image than what you are beneath skin deep. So how is it that we see this and walk away?
That, my dear, is the better part of valor.
Sometimes.
Discretion, they say.
So you would prefer if we went and got the Valachian guard to come out here to investigate three hags?
Oh, you're welcome to try to convince them to leave their precious walled village. But I don't believe that would go very well for you, dear.
True.
In any event, here we are. You made your choice.
Yes, this is all the exposition. So
Yes, and
get to your point. Get to whatever deal you want to make with us.
You've made your choice, and you're experiencing the consequences of that choice.
I do not need to be lectured by a creature that doesn't deserve to exist. So please go to our
Oh
ultimatum
my!
and finish.
Oh my! Well, as you will, dear. I have two ultimatums, to use your word. First of all, you will complete a task. You will make this task a priority until it is completed. Second of all, you will make a sacrifice, a personal sacrifice. Now, I will say this. I'm not an unreasonable person. If you complete the task in a timely manner, and in a manner to which I am pleased, I am willing to give you back that which you sacrifice. If, however, you do not only will you never receive that which you sacrifice back on your person again, I will make every moment of the short remainder of your life a personal nightmare. Are we crystal clear, dear?
I understand what you're saying, yes.
Wonderful. I have a task for you specifically.
And that is?
She looks back at her daughters and she calls the eldest of the two over. Come here, dear. Lend the man your eye. And she looks at her mother and looks at you and says, if you insist, mother, and reaches up, digs her fingers into her skull and tears out with a spatter of blood her own eye.
No, thank you. I did not wish to be lent her eye.
And puts it gently into her mother's hand. Thank you, dear. Wonderful. And her daughter backs up. Now, here's what's going to happen. She sort of squats down in front of you and holds the little eye up so that you can see it, the tail, nerve ending, dangling, blood and viscera dripping slowly off of it.
Delicious.
You are going to take this little bubble and you are going to place it within the common room of the Blue Water Inn in the town of Vallaki. You will ensure it is not easily spotted and that it has clear sight from this little black spot here.
Yes, the pupil.
To as much of the room as it is possible for you to give it sight. You will tell no one that you've done this. You will not get caught doing this. Do you understand?
Yes.
She smiles, and as she does so, her face half returns to the purple, long-nosed, horned visage.
I know what you are, just unnecessary to try
that
to
you saw
intimidate
before.
me.
As she smiles, her lips curl and stretch her cheeks far too wide, exposing dozens of small, sharp teeth.
Abe rolls his eyes and it's like, this is completely unnecessary.
Wonderful, dearie. A good choice, to be sure. I can see that you, despite your actions today, carry great wisdom in that heart of yours. I will give you a choice. You may choose to sacrifice for me
Hi, Brian.
your voice, your hope, or your breath.
Hey, Joel, can I do an insight to try and figure out what she means by my breath?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do.
It rolled twice. I see the 8 and the 5 at
Hold on
the
a
top
second,
of my list.
I'm having a hard time pulling up roll 20 for a second.
Okay.
There it is.
No worries.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to roll a second time.
Okay.
All
So
right.
that the 8 is correct.
Mhm.
The only thing that with an 8, I would say that you can determine is that she wants you to complete a task. So she doesn't mean she's going to kill you.
Right. Okay. So he looks at her and says, "What do you mean by my breath?"
I mean, my dear, that you will give to me the breath from your lungs in such a way that it will impact you without killing you.
Take my voice.
She nods. As you wish, my dear. Now then, there's 2 parts to this. First, I would like you to tell me a story. Your favorite story from childhood, perhaps? Or a joke you personally cannot help but find laugh out loud funny. Or I know your kind, they do enjoy songs. So perhaps there's a song you feel you sing better than anyone else.
There is a story.
Wonderful.
A story that involves overconfident fey creatures who believe they have won, and the comeuppance that is given to them.
Tell me the story.
Well, it's quite similar to the situation we're in now. You see, 3 hags, which were abusing children, tried to make a market out of selling meat pies. And a noble group of adventurers tried to dissuade them from that notion. They were unfortunately unsuccessful in their first attempt. So the hags, in their hubris, decided that they were going to bargain with the adventurers and curse them to convince them to do their dirty work for them. And it's a rather long story, so I won't bore you with the details. But by the end of it, the 3 hags ended with their heads on pikes outside of the very windmill that they made meat pies out of. Tragic, really.
I see. So as you begin to speak, the old woman snaps her fingers, and a thick, choking feeling begins to overwhelm you. Like something is rising up in your throat. It almost feels like you're going to vomit up a whole unchewed apple. The overwhelming urge to empty your stomach forces your mouth open as you retch repeatedly, splattering the ground in front of you with glowing white light. But the story continues. The light itself, speaking in your voice, continues the story until it is finished. And your voice box makes no noise at all.
Can I do a knowledge arcana?
Sure.
Oh, there we go. That's better.
This is big bad curse magic.
Yeah.
She has effectively taken a part of your soul.
That was a good story. I like that story.
You're
Level
asleep.
inspiration.
You're asleep. Yeah, absolutely. Abe can have an inspiration point.
Oh, thank you.
That's all I want to do.
Absolutely. So once this happens, the old woman says, "Excellent, dearie. Well done. And I must admit, you are quite right. You tell that tale well. And it is certainly worth the telling and the hearing. Lessons to be learned, no?" Morgantha pulls a long tube from a nearby shelf, one end narrowing to a thin opening, while the other seems to be attached to a small bellows. "Now, I'll just get this mess cleaned up." Using the tool, Morgantha sucks every drop of glowing light up from the floor and deposits it into a small jar on the shelf. "There we are. Now, for the second part. I can't have you with no voice at all, or you'll find it quite difficult to complete the task we set for you, won't you, dearie?" The hideous one pulls another small bottle from her shelf and hands it to you. "Drink up now, dear." Well, holds it to your lips as your hands are tied. "Drink up now, dear."
He doesn't drink it.
You drink it or you die.
There.
Does he allow it?
Yeah.
All right. As you down the fluid, it burns like the strongest liquor you've ever tasted, like acid eating away at your vocal cords, like lava burning your voice to nothing. Your eyes go red and then black with the overwhelming pain. After a few moments, the agony subsides. You now have the rough voice of a man that has spent too many years smoking a pipe and yelling at his wife.
Well, then, well, this is an interesting comeuppance. Doesn't rightly match my outward demeanor, does it?
He says,
That's-
looking at the hag.
That's a bit of the point, dear. Now, you can play with your new toy later, dearie. Off to sleep with you. And they blow dust into your face.
I don't get to save or anything.
Nope.
Damn. All right.
Mechanically, you have disadvantage at all persuasion checks.
Okay.
Just make a note.
Got it.
Having put Abe to sleep, Rick, are you with us now?
Not entirely yet.
Okay, let me know when you're all the way back.
Okay.
She comes to Familia and wakes Familia up. "Hello, dearie. Did you have a good sleep?"
Where are we? Where are we?
Oh, you're
What are
in
you
the
doing?
home you tried to break into and steal from, my dear.
We tried to break in? No. I'm sorry. It was you that opened the door to us.
Well, my dear, we may have allowed you gently and with some, limitations into the first floor, but you were clearly in league with the men who are trying to break into the windows on our second and third story, were you not?
Where do you have children?
We've
Where do you have
explained to you why
children?
we have the children. And for
Where do you have-
whatever reason, you decided to try to take our lives. How did that work out?
Well, if you didn't attack us first, maybe you would actually never had avoided getting into a fight with us in the first place. Mind you, this was Ivanis's place.
If someone, well, it may very well have been, and we could have certainly taken that to the court and had them decide, since my sisters and I have been living here for many, many years, and there's a right of ownership that
And
comes
he
with
was
possession.
kind.
But he already gave us any right of ownership that y'all may have had, and then still tried to break in.
What happened to your voice?
Well, you don't like it.
No, I actually do.
Would you
No.
rather I spoke like this? Her face turns purple, long horns, sharp teeth. Because if you prefer, you can hear this voice.
Yeah.
Very well, dearie. Very well. Here's the situation you find yourself in. I've every right, by any normal law, to kill those who attempt to hurt myself and my children, to destroy those who attempt to destroy my property. But I'm not unreasonable. I'm happy to allow you to live for a bit of a bargain. I have a task for you to complete for me, dearie. And the situation is that you'll do it. You'll do it to the best of your ability. To give you a bit of incentive, I'll also be taking something from you. A bit of a sacrifice. We don't like that.
No, be my guest. I already had everything that mattered to me sacrificed.
Oh, I've heard that one many times. But so be it. First, your task. I believe for you specifically, you're going to deliver to me 3 healthy children that feel joy. You'll do so at your earliest convenience, or I will make the remainder few days you have left a living nightmare. And if that's not enough, I assure you that any that you have the slightest bit of care for will experience nightmares as well until they die.
You can threaten me all you want.
Oh, it's not a
Completely.
threat, dear.
No, that you negate that everything that was precious and mattered to me is gone. I may look like a devil, but I am not one.
Oh, I'm quite aware that you're not a devil, dear. Just, Grandma let one slip of the wick at some point, eh? Little bangy, bangy, bouncy, bouncy. With something from down under. Not your fault. Even if you do benefit from it, don't you? So, 3 children that feel joy, mind you, none of these that don't seem to have any emotion. You'll get them to me as quick as you're able, and I'll know if you dawdle. Now, the sacrifice, dearie. You'll give me your breath, or you'll give me your luck, or you will give me your hope. What'll it be, dear?
Take my breath.
Oh. Wonderful, dearie. A good choice. A good choice. She kneels down before you, pulling a small glass vial from a pouch at her waist and holding it before your mouth. Now, easy as pie. Just breathe out, my dearie.
And if I don't?
She holds up a finger and it grows 3 inches longer and a 3-inch long claw appears out of the top of it. Oh, we can finish this now if you prefer. I'm trying to be nice. As your breath comes out to an end, all of the air that you can breathe having left your lungs, you suddenly feel more air being sucked out of you. Your head begins to swim, your eyes grow dark, as the overwhelming sensation of your own suffocating death claws its way down your throat and into your lungs. And then it stops, leaving you gasping for breath as the hag stands and waves a hand in your face, sprinkling dust as you gasp for breath, breathing it in. Now go back to sleep, dearie. You need your rest after that. Give me a second. I'm not seeing your particular curse here. I believe I have it here.
So do I need to choose a different one then? If you don't
No,
have it.
I know where it is. I just didn't have it pulled up.
No, it's okay. But I need there. Oh, I refuse to do music for them bitches.
This one. Yes. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yep, that link.
So am I basically suffocating to death now? I
No,
can't breathe.
it stopped. It stopped.
Okay.
You
Because
feel
she's putting me to sleep.
you already are at disadvantage for certain things because you already
Yep.
had a breath related issue.
Exactly.
However, mechanically, you now die if you fail a death saving throw twice instead of 3 times. Just make a note. You're effectively
Okay.
always 1 death saving throw down. Okay. She puts you to sleep. And she turns to Zavanis. You with me? You're muted, dude.
Yes.
You awaken. You awaken. You were put to sleep against your will.
I'm
This
up.
is not something that you're used to experiencing.
Yeah. I don't get put to sleep. Really? I look around.
Everyone is tied up. Just where you saw them a few moments ago, maybe hours ago. You don't know how long you've been asleep. Kalen's asleep. He wasn't before.
Is there any windows I could see how long? If it's nighttime or
There are windows. There are windows. It seems to be approximately the same gray daylight that you remember, but you've learned after a week in Barovia that it's hard to tell the passage of time apart from day and night because of the cloud cover. Hello there, my dear.
oh, it's you.
It is, my little mongrel.
Well, what are you then? Can you explain that hideous appearance you had formerly?
I'm Granny Morga, dear, as I explained previously.
Oh, you're weird, Granny Morga.
Well, you're a burglar, dear.
Well, it may seem that way to you.
It does. You broke into my property. You tried to steal things to which you have no claim.
This may boil down to a complete misunderstanding, as we think you may be killing kids here.
I see. Well, as we are reasonable women, and I assumed that your reasoning for breaking into my home and attempting to murder myself and my daughters must be based on some misunderstanding, rather than killing you, as we have every right to do. I'm willing to let you work off your debt, so to speak. Isn't that nice? Isn't that reasonable of me?
That's pretty reasonable.
I'm glad you think so, dear. I've got a task for you to finish off. I've got a task for you to complete.
All right.
And there'll be a bit of incentive to make sure that you don't dawdle about it, which means I'll be taking something of yours that if you do a good job, you'll be able to earn back. Does that sound
Okay.
reasonable too?
Sounds good.
Yes, I thought so.
How do I know you're going to stay true to your word on any of this?
Oh, how do you know? Well, I'll tell you that I will. Is that good enough?
Well, yeah, well, if anything were to happen, you do know that I came here with the deed, actually, to present to you.
I do, and it was quite generous of you to just give it to us without demanding anything in return. But now that we have the deed and we have the rights that come along with residency for many, many years, I don't think you have a leg to stand on legally.
I do have friends in this area, pretty powerful.
Do you?
Who have known that I'm out here on an expedition.
Who are they?
All right.
I know most of the people of power here. Tell me, who is your friend?
Well, it's very important. Well, a couple of mayors and a couple of regal egalitarians in the area.
Oh.
And if anything were to happen to us, you know that there may be people looking for us.
Really? Oh my. Well, I would hate to get on the wrong side of a primar. I assume that's what you meant by mayor. You meant a primar of one of the villages in the valley. Is that right?
Correct.
Right.
A primar.
And people of some royal egalitarian bent.
Right.
Oh, you must mean Prince Strahd von Zarovich.
Oh, and his buddies.
Oh, and his buddies. So you have access to the castle then?
Well, it would depend on what type of access you are requesting.
Well, the sort that would allow you to go into the castle without being attacked.
And to what end?
Good question. This brings us to the task I have for you, dearie. She calls over her second daughter, and the same moment occurs where she asks her daughter to give her the eye, and she rips the eye out, a splattering of blood splashing across your face. You see his little bauble, dearie?
Yeah, it looks like an eyeball.
It does look like an eyeball and works remarkably well like one as well. Now, you're going to take this and you are going to deliver it to the coin bursar of Castle Ravenloft, the man in charge of Prince von Zarovich's finances.
I gotta write this down. Yes, the coin bursar. That seems a simple task.
Oh, especially for one who's already a friend of the prince, as you yourself are.
Well, yeah, especially that.
Especially that. Now, she drops the eye in your lap. We must discuss your sacrifice, dear, because I'm not going to allow you to just wander away.
Right. That would be unfair to you.
It would be unreasonable, wouldn't it?
Right.
So, my dear, you must willingly give up to me your swiftness.
Okay.
Or your victory.
My victory or swiftness. Well, I would rather give up my swiftness because I have plenty of that to spare.
Morgantha chuckles and says, I'm sure you do, and then shoves you down onto your back. Your arms pinned under you.
Okay.
Girls, I believe I may need your help with this one. Her two daughters walk over and kneel on either side of you, pressing their full strength against your chest,
Can I
pinning.
do an intimidation to just sort of intimidate them?
Sure.
So I glare at them. And
Make
just like
the,
this dark.
you're lying on your back with your hands tied behind you.
Yeah, it's just eyes.
So yeah,
Eye
so
contact.
go for it. How do you do this? What's the?
So I look at them as they're just kneeling on me. It's just like this dark aura of anger that you don't usually see in Zavon is usually happy. So I just try to just like intimidate him because I'm just stuck. I gotta go along with it.
Give me an
So-
intimidation roll at disadvantage.
Okay.
A 10. Okay. Given your situation and your actual ability to do anything, they don't seem phased. One of them actually sort of grabs your chin and sort of wiggles it around like you're a little kid and says, "Aw."
Well, what are you gonna do then?
The two women kneeling on either side of you press their full strength against your chest, pinning your arms painfully behind your back. The eldest hag pulls the boots off of your feet, exposing them to cold air. Reaching into a pouch at her side, she pulls out a pair of iron blacksmith's pincers and moves to firmly grab your ankle, holding your foot in place as she closes the pincers around your largest toenail. Her face turns that mottled purple as she begins to give way to the creature hiding beneath the human skin. Horns sprouting out of her forehead again as she looks you in the eyes with a shark-like smile stretching across her face. Now, I won't lie, dearie. This is going to hurt. And with that, she jerks hard, tearing the nail out by the root
Oh,
as your scream shatters the silence in the room. And then she continues to pull each and every nail from every toe, moving methodically from one toe to the next. She gathers them up and puts them in a little jar. There we are, all done.
what'd you do? What'd you do?
That wasn't so bad, was it, dearie?
That was nothing for me.
Yes, I could tell you didn't, but you weren't bothered by it at all.
No, I was just trying to make you feel better about
Oh,
your torture.
So sweet of you. So
Yeah.
sweet.
Well,
I
what'd you do?
mean, better off this than dying, right?
Well, that's a far better choice. I'm still alive.
Exactly, dearie. Now, as far
Right.
as the impact of this, well, there's the pain, but that'll go away eventually. For the rest of it, you'll figure it out soon enough.
So
Off to bed. Yep, go ahead.
when I deliver this to the coin burster, you're going
Yes.
to reverse whatever you just did?
Well, you'll need to return to me and let me know that you've done a good job.
Right on. Okay.
And you'll need to do it quickly, dearie. If you wait too long, I may become a bit peeved. In fact, here's a bit more incentive. If I decide that you're putting off my task to an unreasonable degree,
Okay.
I guarantee you that my sisters and I will make every waking and sleeping moment of your life a living nightmare until the moment that you breathe no longer.
Nothing compared to what this past week has been. Oi.
Oh, compared to what you've experienced in Barovia to date, Barovia will feel like the sweetest dream.
I laugh like Zabonis is laughing. He naturally would.
Now,
like
now.
in their face.
Off to bed, dear. And she blows dust in your face again. Mechanically, you have disadvantage on initiative from now on. And your speed is reduced by 5 feet.
I gotta write it down really quick.
Okay.
I was looking for my pen.
No worries.
I have that here. So what was that one more time?
Your speed is 5 feet less.
Okay.
And you have disadvantage on all initiative rolls from now on.
Amani,
Okay.
you can also put it in notes on your character sheet.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
can do that later. You can do that later.
Oh,
I'll do
okay.
it. I'll
I was
do that
just
in a
gonna say
minute.
it's super easy that way.
Yeah, I'll do that actually right now. Better just write it down.
I'm just saying he'll lose that paper.
Yeah, no, I get it. I trust you to get him to put it where it belongs.
That's what
Rick.
I'm like. Go ahead.
Are you back with us, buddy?
As much as I can be. Yeah.
Okay. You wake up. Everyone is asleep still. The 3 women stand over you. The old woman seemingly returned to her normal appearance, smiling down sweetly. Hello, dearie. How are you, my little ray of sunshine?
Been better.
I can imagine. Wasn't the wisest choice choosing to break into my house and murder my daughters and me.
All right, I'll kind of grab.
Hadn't intended to murder anyone.
You hadn't. I have to say, the way you swung that sword belies the truth of what you say.
Couldn't let you kill my friends.
You couldn't let me kill the friends that were breaking into my house. Is that it then?
Yes.
Of course. Well, I do appreciate someone who understands how important it is to stay loyal to your friends and family. And so I'm not going to kill you. Isn't that nice?
I appreciate that.
I'm not going to kill you or your friends. However, I do feel that we're owed a bit of recompense. Does that seem unreasonable?
No.
No, of course not. You're such a wise boy. Now, I've got a task for you, dearie.
What do you need?
I need you to complete some things for me. In addition, I'm going to take something from you to ensure that you take this job seriously. Now, if you do the job well, you can have it back, just as it was. You don't do the job well, you ain't never getting it back. And I'll make your life a living nightmare until the last breath you take. Are we clear?
I understand.
Wonderful. Now, what I would like you to do she reaches up, digs her fingers into her own face, and jerks out an eye, splattering you with blood, and drops it in your lap, a little tail sort of snaking out. And as you look down, you watch it move to look at you. I'd like you to take this. I'd like you to find a way to place it on a high shelf with a clear view of the study in the pre-Mars manse of the town of Vallaki. You think you can manage that?
I think so.
I believe in you, dear. But we did talk about incentive, didn't we?
Right.
So for incentive, I'm going to need you to give me something, dearie. Now, I'll give you a choice. You can give me your hope, or you can give me your victory. What'll it be?
My hope.
The woman stands before you and places the tip of her finger on your forehead, pressing in with a nail as sharp as a dagger blade.
What is going on?
Hold on. Give me a minute, guys. Kid stuff.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. She presses in with a nail as sharp as a dagger blade.
Moved to Mexico.
You feel a drop of blood well up and begin to trickle down toward your eyes. Now then, tell me, child, what is your greatest moment of joy? The moment in time you look back on to find hope in times of darkness. While you think about that, I will let you know that the moment the words leave her mouth, you feel compelled to think back to a very specific memory. What is it?
I remember back when I was with my order and I felt that they were strong and doing what was right, fighting back evil. And I was training Alec, watching him grow and become what I thought would be one of the noblest, bravest knights. Getting to experience that growth as a father in his life gave me hope for a future without darkness, without evil constantly spreading across the land.
As you finish living that moment in time again, viscerally, as though you were there for the very first time, remembering that sweet moment, you return to full consciousness again, and you watch as Morgantha, Granny Morga, raises her finger from your forehead, examining a small ball of glowing rainbow light, which seems to now be attached to it. Yes, that is a beautiful memory. She looks down at you. I can't have you missing it entirely, though, dear. You've nothing to fight for. She flicks her finger in your direction, and a speck of glowing light falls from her finger, landing on your forehead. There you are. That should be enough to remind you of what you've lost. And then she pulls a vial from her pouch and drops her new possession into it, before blowing more dust in your face, saying, now back to sleep with you, dearie. You no longer have that memory. What you have instead is the memory of the memory. You remember that there is a moment in your life that was foundational to who you are as a human being, to who you are as a paladin of light, a cornerstone of your personality. You know it's missing, but you don't know what it is. Additionally, mechanically, you now have disadvantage on all history, arcana, religion, and nature checks made to recall any information. And you have a new flaw. Tell me when you're ready to make a note of the flaw word for word.
History, arcana, and what?
History, arcana, religion, and nature checks.
Nature, okay.
Made specifically to like remember or know something.
Okay, new flaw.
Your new flaw. The world is a dark, terrible place, and no man's fight can ever push back the darkness. There is no hope.
Okay.
And you fall back asleep. Now, after an unknown amount of time, the group of you wake up. You're at the bottom of the hill, in the middle of the road. It's still daylight. The windmill turns in the distance. You have all of your possessions from what you can tell. You're no longer bound. You all begin to wake. I'm going to run off to the bathroom. You guys can role play together if you'd like. I'll be right back.
I can. Yeah.
Well, there's only two of us here. Oh, there she is. Hello.
No, and Monty's behind. I'm trying to get him logged in. His
My
phone died.
Sorry. I thought it was charging while I was playing. Apparently it wasn't charging right.
And I gotta put mine in too.
but I don't know how I'm going to. I actually don't know Prince Strahd on that level.
They know that. We all know.
I know.
Even though.
So I'm gonna have to fake some. I'm gonna have to fake the funk somehow, and introduce myself to the coin burst. Apparently, is that what it was? And deliver to him, or do I have to hide it? Because I know that Brent, you have to hide yours.
So Abe looks at everybody and he's like,
All right.
and he pulls out a notepad and he starts scribbling on it. And then he turns it to you. On the notepad, it says, I have no intention of doing anything that these hags ask us to do.
Oh.
But then underneath it, he writes, my voice is a small price to pay for my soul and morality. And he shows you the notepad, and then he flips it back over and puts it in his pocket.
I go, well,
and then he starts
Abe,
checking all of his gear.
Abe, I want to say, maybe we should consult with Madame Ava.
Pulls the notepad back out, writes on it, turns it to you. And it's like, Madame Ava is not obligated to help us when we help us solve issues that we get ourselves into.
I know.
Hmm.
You're right.
Hmm.
If we had something to offer her, we could trade services. Maybe she could help us. We could appeal to her and get your voice back.
Starts scribbling on the notepad again. And he shows it to you. It's like, and it says, the solution is simple. We just wait for the hags to split up.
It's a good idea.
I'm confused. Am I able to breathe?
You could breathe, but when you have one less death save.
Yeah, you're physically, you feel basically the same as before.
Okay. So I still have a hard time breathing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Isn't this the tech?
so did they leave? Did they just leave the room? I was kind of confused by that.
We're outside.
You woke up at the bottom of the hill in the road.
Oh.
Just like lying in the mud.
I go, well, Abe.
Do I see your bloody feet?
Are you okay?
No, he's got his boots back on.
Good.
Oh, my boots are on. I just reached down, like looking at my shoe. Like, there's something to my feet. Really hurt. I don't think I'm as fast or something like that. It's not, I'm not going to be able to move at full speed like I used to for a while. And it may not be a good idea to do what they're saying. But
Abe writes on the notepad, you think?
but we have to remove these curses somehow. We can't live like this.
On the notepad, he says, she took my voice and put it in a bottle. They have to store it somewhere.
I have spies, Abe. I don't know if you are able to tell, but I have a way with the animals around here, especially the crows. They talk to me in ways. Oh, the ravens. I can communicate with them. Maybe they can detail me on their whereabouts throughout the day.
Wait, what is...
They might have spies too.
I mean, if we wait and single them out and take them out one by one, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry.
Abe writes something on his notepad. Hey, Joel.
Yeah.
Are you okay with me communicating like that?
Yeah, if you want to, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, you were given a voice.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to, you don't have to talk in a voice that's going to hurt your throat, but
Can those
you
eyes
can talk
hear?
if you want to. But if like as a
Can they
character
just
decision,
see?
you don't want to show that you've got that
You never
Yeah.
know.
voice, that's
It's
totally
like
up to
some
you.
mental universe.
On the notepad, he writes, there is a problem because if we kill one, the other two are gone. We have to capture one and then fight the other two.
Hmm.
We need more Gantha. She's the only one I want.
She does seem to be the leader of the coven.
She's the only one I want. So don't
Yeah.
you sent to Jeff his curse and his kind of task.
I haven't yet, but I will do before next
Okay.
week.
Okay. No, that's fine.
So, do we think killing them is going to release the curse? In essence,
I don't even care.
you want to go after them?
I don't care. I'm going. Yeah. I have nothing. I have nothing.
I can spy on them and send a raven, communicate,
Do it.
and let you know when she's by herself. But if she can't see through my invisibility spell, I don't know if she's able to determine where I am.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
A technical question.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long were we out? Sleeping?
Give me a nature check.
Just wondering if it's like a short rest.
I was going to ask.
You definitely did not get a short rest.
Okay. So
Nothing about that experience was restful.
Right.
Okay. Nope. That's what I wanted to make sure. Okay. So,
So,
give me 1 second. You said a nature check?
Each of you, I said a nature check. Each of you
Okay.
endured a very real torture experience over
Okay.
the course of however much time that was. Certainly enough pain and struggle to keep you from having the benefits of a short rest. With a 7, especially
That's horrible.
in Western Washington in December, you have no idea how much time has passed. It's the exact same color of gray that it was when you guys started the fight.
Okay.
Okay.
So it could literally be a matter of minutes or a matter of hours.
You don't feel
Correct.
rested.
I don't. I just need to
You don't
know.
feel rested.
The only thing that you can say for sure is it doesn't look like dusk is coming. Like it doesn't look like it's going to get dark soon.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it's not going to get dark in an hour. But you're not like on the precipice of night. Abe, what's going through your head at this point, privately?
Oh, he's pretty incensed.
Mm-hmm.
He has a personal grudge against most of the nefarious denizens of Barovia,
Mhm.
and he was not. It's more so that he's upset that he lost without even being able to fight.
Yeah.
And his voice is a small price to pay. I guess I don't want to say for his pride, but I guess
Sure.
for his ethics.
Sure.
So he's already trying to think about how he can turn the tables on these hags.
Okay.
That's what's going through his head.
I dig it. That's fantastic. So just to, I'm gonna put a couple of notes into the chat here, just to record sort of what everybody experienced in a very quick way. So Abe, task,
Guard the tricycles tomorrow.
place, she asked you to put it in the inn, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
in the common room.
Mm-hmm. And curse, lost voice. Kalen, task, place in Mance, curse, lost hope. Zavanis, task, place in castle, curse, lost swiftness, and then Familia, task, bring 3 children. Curse. What was your curse again, Nikki?
Breath. My
Loss of
well,
breath.
it was my breath, loss of breath.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Kaylin, what's going through your character's mind?
Well, I had just this first. I had Ashley read my notes on what just happened,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Damn, that's a lot." Right now, I think he's just kind of crushed.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna take a minute to get his morale up.
Mm-hmm.
Struggling, trying to grasp for that memory that was taken from him.
Yeah, it's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? I know I need it. I need it really bad, but I don't have it.
While they were talking,
Yeah, go ahead.
While they were talking, I was worried that the hags might have spies or something that can watch or listen. I don't want them to hear.
Oh, in the road.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what were you gonna say?
I'm interested to see over time how you lean into the no man has a hope of standing against the darkness thing.
Right.
I think that you can really I think you can do something with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Amelia, what's going through your mind right now?
I see fire. I see fire. I see Morgantha in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, I've already had everything taken. I'm still in the back of my mind. I find it so funny that they think that they can hurt me anymore than what's already empty. So the fact that they want 3 children, I'm kind of appalled. I think I'm more appalled that they asked the female of the group to bring them children, because I'm actually with Abe in the sense of I really have no desire, no plan to do so. And I'm just trying to think of what can we do to get around it.
Okay.
Otherwise, if I bring children to them, then I want to just burn them up. And the children, which is really screwed up, but that's kind of like the epitome of, if you want to see a monster, I'll be a monster.
Yeah. Sure.
And so
yeah.
I'm just confused. I mean, we just woke up. I'm just confused. So I'm just, like you said, though, I'm back to already having my normal struggle of breath, right?
Mm-hmm.
So nothing new. I meant to ask, can I play my flute and things like that?
Yeah. You can play your flute.
Okay.
I may give you a disadvantage on performance checks with it because you're having trouble, keeping your breath, but you can do it for sure. It's interesting that you said a couple of times now that your character has nothing to lose. It was important to me for you guys to have choices in what you sacrificed. And so I'm totally happy with how things worked out, but I was really hoping that you would choose hope.
I was originally going to. It's funny that you said that. Originally, that was my first.
Because as much as you have nothing to lose, losing memories of your love would have been like the only thing left for you to have taken away that was meaningful to you. So I was sort of hoping that that's where we would go with it, but it's totally cool that we went where we went. No. Like I said, I'm not telling a story here. I'm not writing a novel, right? We are telling a story, and it's important that you guys have agency in the telling of that story.
The whole purpose behind why I was thinking breath was because when I was given the task and then the sacrifice, I was hoping, ironically, that breath meant I couldn't play my flute, and then I couldn't perform in the sense that I could not be of advantage to assist in the way, like when you are a performer, that's usually how you're able to finagle, as you said, and be persuasive on being able to, like, for getting children or whatever. So I wanted that to put it at a disadvantage deliberately. I wasn't thinking in the terms of, because I really did feel kind of hopeless with everything else. I wasn't thinking of my memories of losing my, which I'm glad I didn't, because that probably would have, I don't know, made me more bitter or not. I don't know, but I'm still resentful.
But you're where you are. You're where you are, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Amani, what is going through Zavanis's mind?
Well, in my mind, like I think I could easily take care of this task, you know. But it's Strahd. Then again, you know, you don't really want to mess with him in this part of town. And I'm like diplomatic. I
thought he was your buddy.
Yeah, I wouldn't like plant a bug or spy on him. I almost want to go and snitch on the witches to Strahd and get on his good side and get this curse removed. That's what I'm thinking.
That is an interesting idea. That is an interesting idea. It would be, I would be interested in seeing how that turns out if you choose to go that path.
I might, because I'm I'm angry too, but they didn't really affect me. Like in Zavanis's mind, that was a weak curse. Like he if it was victory, I think it would have been much worse.
Could be.
I would have had like no victory.
Could be.
Zavanis likes to win.
Hold on just a second.
But yeah, I might go to Strahd directly to him and say, these people are up to something. And I don't know if you know this, but I would never go against such a powerful dude like you in these parts. Like, I'm talking to the rest of the group. I know Joe's busy, but yeah. What do you think about that? Aren't we invited to his castle?
Yeah.
Abe scribbles down on his pad and is like, anything that you would get from Strahd would come back twice as bad.
That's good to know.
There's no reason to trust that man. That creature.
That makes, you know, coming from you, actually, that makes that actually is interesting, because your people made a deal with him. So for you to...
He writes down, they didn't make a deal.
No?
Scribbles, we treated him with kindness when he was a human.
Okay.
You know,
okay, so that's the history. No, and coming from someone, here's the deal. My ancestors and family, they did what they did. It means nothing to what my people and who I am and my parents and so forth, you know, it's nothing on them now. So I can understand and relate. But if trying to make a deal with Strahd only ends up worse, I think we have a better chance of knocking these ladies off first and then going after him.
He writes on his notepad and shows it to you. Think of it like a deal with the devil. You'll get what you want, but it'll come back twice as bad.
Okay.
He kind of shrugs his hand and writes down on the pad. It's like, he's not dishonest.
Right. I mean, I would not really be apt to strike a deal, more as just to tip him off. And
be on his side, good side.
He intends to meet us, and he's going to, because he has that power, whether we like it or not. We may come to face him, and I'd prefer maybe hold a little sway in my favor when we do.
What are you supposed to be doing? What did you make a deal with Morgantha?
Yes, they want me to plant this item. It looks like an eyeball. My thinking is that it allows them the ability to see wherever this item is placed. It is an eyeball.
God.
And they want me to put it in the castles of Strahd with the burgomaster and somehow plant it there.
You're not showing the eye, are you?
No,
Or
no,
are
I'm
you
not.
showing no?
I have it hidden.
Okay. They can't see us.
No, it's covered.
So I'm asking, okay. They can't hear us? Can they hear us? I'm just asking as a group, the group, can they hear us right now?
My perception
Oh.
tells me
Gosh.
Yeah, I don't know.
that it's probably for visibility and not to hear with. It came directly from the eye socket of one of the sisters.
They want me to bring them 3 children, 3 very happy children, to do God knows what to.
Mm.
Seems a little opposite of what we were already trying to accomplish by saving the other in the cages.
Abe,
Right.
Abe writes on his notepad. He shows is like, when I was a newt, they had vials of happiness. I think they can extract pleasant memories from people, which we've already seen. That's why they want happy children.
That's what they're putting in the pies.
Mm.
I won't give them that. They took my breath, but I won't give them that.
And they took my deed too.
In fairness, Sylvanas, you did.
He writes down in like capital
That's
letters,
the real loss.
you gave it to them.
Yeah, I said in fairness, Sylvanas, you did give it to them.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
But under false pretenses. Ah! Sorry, that was creepy. My phone just did something.
Well, if we can know how to separate them and capture one of them somehow. We have to spy on them.
Oh, we need a rest.
We do need to rest.
I can't disguise myself as a child.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, now we hear you.
Now we
Okay.
can.
Weird. I don't know what happened with my microphone. Okay. Not to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt. While this conversation is happening in the middle of the road, I will just call out that, of course, Dorn is there as well, but we're not going to deal with what he's saying or anything like that. Irina is there as well. And she's listening to all of you explain what happened and what you were asked to do with like a horrified look on her face.
Mm-hmm.
He writes on the pad, what happened to you, Irina?
Mm-hmm.
And she shakes her head and she says, I became a frog. And they brought me to a strange place where the colors were all wrong and twisted and backward. And I tried to escape, but I could not. And then I woke up here in this roadway with you. That is all I can remember.
Well, at least they spared you from your deeds.
But why did they spare me? That
Maybe because you're
feels
Barovia.
almost worse somehow. What reason would they have? I don't understand. Maybe they didn't spare me. Maybe I just can't remember what they did to me.
Ruh-roh.
What if they did something worse to me than any of you? I am a native of this land.
Karina, I think that makes you more special. I think you're less of a threat. Or maybe you are more the threat, and that's why they did not place a curse on you.
Or again, perhaps they did and we just don't know it. I will be
Well-
second guessing every thought that enters my mind now. If I begin to behave in a way that is
Abe pulls up his pad. He's like, remember, you've been selected by Strahd.
what? No, that
He writes
that
in the letter. Remember in the letter that you
yes,
got at the
of
funeral?
course I remember the letter. It must be a misunderstanding. There's no reason for the devil to have singled me out in any way.
So either in here, as he's writing, either that or they have done something to you that is advantageous to them. Flipping to a new sheet of paper.
Well, let me ask you. Go ahead.
It's like everything they've done is to benefit themselves. Writing down furiously more with like a little piece of charcoal.
Okay.
Like the only reason why they wouldn't let you remember is if it was something that they couldn't let you remember. Like what if they can see and hear through you? Very powerful magic, but something not unheard of.
Should we blindfold me?
Not really.
Put cotton in my ears.
They've already heard everything if that's the point. So there's nothing to worry about now.
Arena,
Yes, Savonis.
you don't plan on ever going to meet Strahd, do you?
I would live my life as happily as I can in this cursed place if I never see his face.
And we still need to find your brother.
Yes, yes.
It seems like both of these things are on a time crunch.
I will be honest. My hope in Ismark's survival has grown very small at this stage.
But every hour we lose is a moment in time.
He did
I'm
not.
just torn. Like I could live with this curse. And I think maybe if we take out these hags as quick as possible, we can maybe prevent the deaths of some kids at least.
I
Or their
believe
memory.
that they most assuredly should be destroyed, though I do not know where to begin, as they seem immensely more powerful than you or me combined.
Well, your brother, as a Primar, does he pull some sway with some sort of backup that we could call over here? Maybe we could burn these witches down and attack them with a full force of ranks.
On the notepad, he writes, "They're only powerful together."
We have to get them alone.
I do not know that Ismark has the ability to gather enough people to a cause such as this to put their lives at risk. To be honest, at least half of the villagers of Barovia eat the pies from this meal on a regular basis. And she looks meaningfully at Dorn. I think we all understand what that means.
But if they knew what the price to pay for these pies, we may persuade them to rally to our cause.
It is possible. But my brother did not show up at Serpul, where we were meant to meet. Perhaps he will find us in Vallaki, which is a larger town, and perhaps they are not so under the sway of the pies of these women. Perhaps we can find help there. I do not know. She looks up at the sky. I do know that we still have most of the day remaining. And I, for one, do not relish being caught out at night in the wilds of this land.
No more hostels. That wasn't a fun experience.
I think, unless any of you have anything else we must take care of here, it would be wise for us to continue on the road. Everyone in agreement?
Let's go to Vallaki.
All right. Nobody is speaking up against the idea, so I assume you all move on. And you can continue having conversations as you travel as well, obviously.
I mean, I think we gotta somehow destroy them. Like I agree with Abe. How are we gonna single them out? I don't know how we could single them out and separate them and sort of get the ambush of element of surprise on that. We have to work on a plan for that, I guess. Unless you might know of how we could like do that.
Yeah.
And
we need to kill the sisters.
We need to kill them and remove the curse and
keep Morgantha.
But I think if we deliver Irina to safety and maybe perhaps find her brother at the same time, we might be able to persuade some villagers to come with us, or they might have some ideas on how to single them out. Like I know the mom was traveling from town to town for some reason, Morgana. So if we could catch her on one of her travels, Morgantha, if we could catch her on one of her travels out on the roads and ambush her, maybe throw a net on her, capture her.
Her daughters need to be, I don't know. I feel like her daughters need to be killed first before, because she'll let her daughters know if she's been captured. I don't know much about these night hags, but I do know they're incredibly strong. Especially when they're together. I don't know what to do. Kaylin, Abe?
Well, I think, yeah, what do you think, Kaylin? Abe?
Thorn?
I think we just don't want to do what they're asking us to do. I think we all agree on that.
Abe passes the notepad to Familia, and it writes on there, their strength lies in 3.
Okay.
We just need to separate one. It doesn't matter which one. The problem is if one dies, the other 2 will know. And there's a good chance that they'll be able to send messages to each other if one's been incapacitated. Takes the notepad back.
So I wouldn't know what was the plan. I would think out of character. I don't know, like if I could say it. I don't know if I saw the notepad or whatever.
Unless he says that he's trying to speak to somebody by themselves,
Yeah.
assume he's making it available to everyone, especially since there's no mechanical need for him to be doing it this way. So it's just
Yeah.
flavor.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I just continue talking out loud to myself in a way. Like, how are we gonna capture?
Like you're just sort of like
Yeah, I'm just
brainstorming, trying to
trying to brainstorm.
Mhm.
Like, how are we gonna capture? How are we gonna kill them?
Well, she is familiar with the orphanage. I'm pretty sure she does go to the orphanage a lot.
Oh,
Maybe we can lure Morgantha to the orphanage. Especially she thinks she wants me to get 3 healthy children and to hurry quickly so that I'm not slowly tortured over the next day or 2.
well, yeah. If you could find out where she's traveling to, or if you want to lure her to a trap,
Aren't you one who speaks with birds?
yeah, I could find out where they're going. I could perhaps get eyes on them and follow them.
Well, where's Tina? No, she haven't had Tina around lately.
Peanut's back around in by the lake we were at. You know, he's hanging out. I let him have a little free time and get to know the area. And that's how I'm making friends with these other birds. Like, honestly, I have a way with them. What?
I said you're such a strange creature.
I know. I am a monk. We are all known to be a little strange at times.
As you continue to talk and walk down the Old Svalich Road, tombstone gray clouds stare down at the landscape around you. The windmill receding into the mist behind you as you continue along the road.
Yes.
Eventually, the clearing becomes choked again with dark trees as the road enters the forest once more. As you walk occasionally, the forest releases the barks, howls, and cries of wild beasts from the distance, though no sign of the animals making those noises can be seen nearby. After some time, you pass a small stream, winding its way through the tall, grassy hills to the west and into the forests east of you. Sylvanas, as
Yes.
you're walking through the stream, which has no bridge, it's just sort of a ford, a shallow area that's very rocky that a wagon would be able to cross through without danger. You know, wet to halfway up your calves. You hear the sound of a small child weeping.
Oh.
Somewhere nearby.
Is anyone by me? Like, you hear that? I hear a kid crying somewhere.
The rest of you,
Do a perception check.
Once he points it out, it's not necessary. Once he points it out and you all stop splashing around and clumping through the along the road, you pause for a second, you can hear it, yes.
Let's see if I can see it.
Okay.
I assume I don't see it.
You don't see anything. You generally hear the sound coming from nearby on the other side of the stream, just to the side of the road. There's a large half-rotted tree stump, and the sound seems to be coming from there.
And it's getting dark out.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, it's perpetually dusk in among the trees of the forest.
Yeah.
So what do you see, Abe?
Abe
See
kind of
something?
like holds his arms out and like writes down. He's like, I don't trust that.
What do you think it is?
I don't think it's a child.
I don't think. I think you might be right, but are you willing to risk leaving a kid here crying?
He makes a motion like our hands are tied.
Okay. Well, you're right. But we can at least get a closer look and see. Like, I'll go.
And like Abe's like, we all go together.
Okay. Well, I'll take the lead. If you want, since it is risky, I have good eyesight. I could probably see pretty good. We don't have to get too close, but it might be a kid in danger, and maybe it escaped from the witches. Maybe it knows something that we don't on how to plan help against these forces. Like, it must have come from the windmill, this kid. All right, so
What's going on? I'm sorry.
What's up, Rick?
Did I miss anything?
I don't know when you stopped listening.
Is after we noticed the child weeping.
They pinpointed where they think the sound is coming from, and the discussion now is: do we just ignore it, or do we go find out what it is?
You're muted, Nikki.
Kaylin, don't you want to go see?
Okay, we don't know if it's a child or not.
If I think it's a kid, I'm not going to be able to ignore it. I got to go see.
Yeah. So I just told Zavanis, lead the way. I didn't know. I was muted,
if you don't
sorry.
mind, allow me.
I'll go with you.
All right. So yeah, walk over.
You're all walking over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yup.
Walking around to the back of the old tree stump. The sound of the small child's cries suddenly goes silent. As you round the far side, you see a hollow between two large roots at the bottom of the stump. And within it, a child sits, huddled in the small alcove. His tunic and trousers are torn, and he's covered in splotches of old mud as he lifts a face marked by long, dirty tear lines and looks up at you, eyes as wide as teacups, clearly terrified.
Does Zavanis recognize this kid as one of the ones in the windmill?
No.
Okay.
It's a human. Can we tell?
Looks human.
Because he looks like the same. Let me ask you this. Is he in the same condition as like the children that Zavanis and Zar saw in the box? Cages, whatever.
The young boy seems relatively well fed, maybe even a bit plump under all the dirt and grime.
Abe kind of squats down. He's like,
I want to run up with the
beckons him
blanket.
out.
Are you? Oh, sorry.
He looks at you, looks at all of you, slowly crawls out and stands up. It sort of keeps his back to like the tree, like he might dart back into his little hole if any of you does something threatening.
Abe writes on his notepad. He like shows it to whoever's close to him. And it's like, somebody tell him to relax, please.
So I'll just try to relax him. I have this doll. I have the toy doll.
Abe gives Zavanis the notepad. He's like, use your words.
Okay, good idea. That doll is a little tricky.
Okay.
Forgot about that.
So Kaylin, what were you gonna say?
Said it's okay. We're not going to hurt you. Just want to know if you need any help.
He looks up at you. Zavanis, did you have anything to add?
I was like, yeah, we're here to help. You can trust us. Why are you out here?
Okay. Kaylin, go ahead and give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, nice one.
Okay. You see like a light of relief and hope enter his eyes. The kind of hope that Kaylin knows is false. And he runs to you, Kaylin, and wraps his arms around your leg. It doesn't seem like he's going to let go.
Is he hurt? Can we see your
Abe kind of pats him on the back. Looks to see if he's hurt.
Okay.
Like what Zavanis was doing.
Yeah. Give me a medicine check if you are if you have that skill as something that you are trained in.
I have +4.
Yeah.
So
do you have the dot?
I'm technically trained in every skill.
Right. Then you can go ahead and make that roll as well.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So you can tell that he is definitely well fed. You can tell that he is young. It's hard to pinpoint his age, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. He does not seem physically injured.
So
He writes on the pad, "Can you read?" And he like shows the kid the pad.
He looks at the pad and then buries his face in Kaylin's leg again.
Okay.
So what are you doing out here?
He looks up at you and then looks back down the road the way that you came. And then grips your leg even tighter and buries his head again.
Morgantha.
This kick, yeah, it came from there.
I'm gonna do an insight check.
Okay.
Not 20.
This kid seems
That's
terrified,
awesome.
legitimately.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was doing his best just to keep from being noticed by something that might want to have him as a snack. He also doesn't seem like he is able to talk. It's difficult to say whether he's physically mute or if it's just like a PTSD type of symptom.
Yeah, he's just in shock.
Right.
Or if he was cursed.
Or if he's cursed in some way magically.
Yeah. Like his hope taken from him.
But he the reason that he doesn't seem to be talking is because he can't for whatever reason.
Abe relays that. He's like, I think he's mute for whatever reason. We need to figure out where he's from so we can get him back to his parents.
He glances at your notepad when you hold it out, and he seems to react positively to whatever you wrote on it.
He's like, so you can read.
He nods really hesitantly.
Oh, find out his name.
Is he?
Yeah.
Do you,
What's your name? And then he gives him the pad with the little charcoal stick.
He takes a good 2 minutes writing his letters down. And it's the ugly, unformed hand of a second grader.
Yeah.
but I have posted the name into Roll20.
Nothing came up.
Lovush.
And then he's
Oh,
writes,
is that what you wrote? Lovush?
and then Abe writes down, "That's a great name. You're very well read and written."
He smiles really big for a second.
And then Abe shows everyone his name's like, "This is his name."
Well,
Go ahead.
you have to take him to the orphanage and find out where his parents are. They're the only ones who I know who can have that sort of record.
Abe kind of points to the kid and is like, writes down, "Ask him."
Where are your parents? Lovush. And does he write it?
Are you from the Locky?
He nods yes.
Okay.
Oh, so we take
Well,
him
that's
to
a start.
Valaki.
Do you have family in Valaki?
He nods yes, but Abe, with your 24 insight, he does not look happy with the idea of seeing his family.
What?
No.
Writes down,
Mhm.
"I think he might be running from his family."
Oh, they gave him to the witches or the hags.
Did they sell you? Did they sell you to the pie lady?
He nods his head and starts to cry again.
Hmm.
It's
Well, in
kind
that
of hard for me
case-
not to flare my eyes, like to get real golden. Kind of.
Do you do that?
I kind of do. The moment I find out that this family sold, my almost nature, not him. I'm looking at the people and on my group, and get like you could see my wild magic. Like I'm really more angry at Morgantha. Like I'm just saying I'm going to kill Morgantha.
So he stumbles back, tripping over Kalen's foot and falling to the ground, and begins to scramble and claw his way away.
Oh,
I'm not doing it at him. I'm doing it at my group.
I understand, but you look
That's
like a
true, though.
demon. You look
That's
like a
true.
demon.
That's true.
And you just
Sorry,
did
it's
something
true.
scary to a kid who's already having major PTSD.
And Abe just like, shh.
It-
It's
And like he gestures over to Kalen. He's like, come here. Like, shh.
try to calm him down.
Yeah. He's just
Kalen, what's your reaction?
Am I like, did he pull me away?
No, he let
No,
go of you, and he's trying to
he's
get away
scrambling.
now.
Oh, okay.
He's sort of crab crawling backward.
Lovish, we're not going to hurt you. We only want to help. Is there somewhere we can take you? We are going to Valaki, but we don't have to take you back to your family.
We only want to protect you. I'm just telling you right now. I'm not your enemy. We are only here to protect you
Listen,
and kill those witches.
we don't know what type of deal might have been made for them to capture this kid. It might not be the parents' fault. If we can take out these hags somehow, then we have no reason to worry about the children in this town, at least about them.
Fair enough.
Kalen, he is continuing to sort of walk away, and he's pointing a shaking finger at Familia.
She's a friend. She's very kind and loving. She just looks scary. So, yeah, right. Walk over to Familia and put my arm around her. She's very nice. It would probably be nice if you like made a kind gesture to me to show that you were nice.
My eyes changed, Joel. Back to normal.
Okay. which is
CHC.
still all sort of golden, right?
Correct.
Right.
Exactly.
But they're
Just
not
normal
like
yellow.
glowing anymore,
It's
right?
not. It's
Yeah.
normal yellow. It's not. It's not
Okay.
that glowing. Ember.
Friendly yellow.
Yeah.
Yes.
She would never
yes.
hurt a
Back
child.
to.
Friendly yellow demon eyes. Got it.
So.
Got it.
Lelouch, do you like music? And I'm gonna whip out. I'm gonna whip out my flute because I know
Yeah.
children generally.
And Abe pulls out his too. He's like,
And it, no, because I literally was thinking of Braden's song. I would totally be playing Braden's song.
Okay. What is that like?
So when I play for your kids when I'm over there all the time. Something like that. That's what I always play for the kids, the little ones.
I love it when you do that. Everything
Thank
but
you.
like the last couple of notes where I'm guessing you went really high pitched. Everything else
I
you can hear
did.
perfectly clearly.
Sorry.
That's
It
okay.
does. It has a.
That's okay. You just don't have a mic that like can pick up that sound range, which is fine. Give me a performance check with advantage because Abe is assisting.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say with disadvantage because I was kind of used to that.
No, normally I would say with disadvantage, but because Abe is helping you, and you just physically played an instrument for our pleasure, I will give you advantage on the roll.
Aw, Donk Shane. Yay! Either way, they both were good.
The two of you manage to convince him that Familia is not someone who's going to cut his heart out and eat it.
I'm not one of them.
Yay.
I'm going to
And-
cut Morgantha's heart out and eat hers.
He reaches out to Kalen and asks sort of with his hand for help up,
Reach down and help him up.
and then latches onto you again.
Hmm. Kaylin, you have a puppy dog.
So,
Then
travel with us.
Sorry, Zavanis, hold on. Kalen, what?
I asked him if he wanted to travel with us.
If he wants to travel with you?
Yes.
He looks up at you and just nods his head like,
So, what do you guys think we should do?
Zavanis, what were you going to say?
oh, I was just saying. Then he came. He's like persuaded already to come with us.
It seems that way.
Okay, so we better make haste because it's getting dark. I hear some creatures also out there. There are some like sounds of howls and wolves. Those I don't know if that female werewolf may have told her
Yeah.
friends about us, and they
Dude,
could be after
wait.
us and on our tracks.
Wait.
The kid is now literally trying to climb Kalen. As Zavanis mentions out loud, werewolves attacking you as a group.
Yeah,
And
I
he's
think
like
we need to be
literally
more
half,
careful.
he's under your cloak halfway up your back at this point.
You got him,
Abe's gonna
Kaylin?
kind of like walk over there and help lift him up and put him on Kalen's shoulders.
yeah,
Okay.
nice.
His hands are covering your eyes.
Oh, good.
We will
Oh, okay.
protect you. Kill one beast will kill all.
So then I take out the doll. I go, don't worry, kid. Any of those wolves come, I'm gonna squirt them with this. And I squeeze the doll and it gets a little bit of like that oily grease oil, whatever.
Blood,
It's like-
whatever, some kind of red fluid. Yeah.
Ew.
And I go, that'll take care of them. Don't you think?
His eyes light up and he reaches out for the doll.
So I go, careful, buddy. Just don't aim it at anything you wouldn't want covered in goo.
And he holds it very, very tight with one arm, while the other one, he sort of leans over Kalen. Does Kalen wear like a helm? Or is he bareheaded?
I think bareheaded.
Okay. So he sort of leans over to like rest his chin kind of painfully against your forehead and wraps an arm around your neck. while he holds onto the doll with his other hand, and it's sort of squeezed against the side of your face.
Oops. Well,
We
he
should probably
seems
get
safe and
moving now.
protected, Kaylin. I entrust you with the care of this child.
I will do all I can. We should probably move now.
Well, we can all work together, but we should actually make haste. Like, honestly.
We won't let anything happen.
Abe is already walking down the road. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know why we're now questioning the capabilities of somebody to take care of a kid, that we've been traveling with for so long.
Well,
When
you've been
there's
traveling. You've been
Well,
traveling with
that
them for
you've
less
been
than a day.
Yeah, that you've been traveling with, but it's not like there's not 5 of us here to take care of the kid.
Yeah.
All right. So, with Lovush in tow, you continue on along the road through the woods,
To grandmother's house we go.
or maybe away from grandmother's house.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of the day passes as you grow closer and closer to the town of Vallaki. Trees give way briefly to small bits of open area grassland, and then forest presses in against you, coming right up to the road, long skeletal branch-like fingers of the trees reaching down, grabbing at strands of hair, dimming the already weakened light of the sun into almost full twilight. Abe, you've been to Vallaki before, although it's been a while. You would estimate at this point you're maybe an hour or so from town. You guys could probably make it before full dark if you continue on. As you're walking and assessing this, you all hear 3 short, sharp, high-pitched sounds pierce the darkness. Then again, 2 short, sharp sounds. And after a few moments, 3 again, all identical in pitch and volume.
What is that?
Can I get a nature check?
Nature.
From everyone.
Oh.
Oops, I rolled with the advantage. Sorry.
That's okay.
I rolled with disadvantage.
It's okay. I'll just take your first roll, which is a 17.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Kaylin, when this is happening, Luvush has like twisted and turned around on you, and his arms and hands are sort of covering your ears, so you don't actually hear anything. Abe, that sound is one that you know. It is a night warbler's cry.
A what?
Night warbler. It's a type of bird.
What is a night warbler? Oh, it's a bird. All
It's a
right.
type of bird. It's a type of bird that you know doesn't exist in Barovia.
Oh.
And it's also, especially in this very specific combination of chirps, a sound that you know to be used as a call by your people when they are trying to communicate without being noticed by those who do not wish their presence to be nearby.
Okay, and Abe kind of like slows everyone down. He's
Is that a turkey?
it's a night warbler.
They don't go warble, warble, warble.
Hey, it's canon now. That's what they sound like.
And then he does
Abe, this is recorded,
a
so
out
it's
there
immortalized.
Yes, in the real world, night warblers are actually wild turkeys.
Yes, they are.
You hear a return cry. And looking around, Abe, you catch sight of a gray cloaked figure leaning out from behind a tree near the road.
Abe kind of turns around and like tells everyone to.
Okay.
They seem to be holding a bow,
Oh,
and they have an arrow knocked, but the bow is relaxed for the moment. They have not drawn it.
Abe's gonna walk towards the cloaked figure.
Okay. You all see the figure step out from behind the tree and into the roadway. A rather tall man steps forward and removes his hood to reveal a dusky purple-skinned elf.
And as he does that, like Abe kind of like skids to a halt with his hand on his rapier, and he's like, and like shakes his finger like, you should not have impersonated my people.
He nods and looks at you and says, "Greetings, good Vistana. May we speak?"
Like gestures.
He steps forward, his elven features, purple-hued skin, and long dark hair becoming more obvious in the dim light of the forest. Zavanis?
yeah. I see an elf.
You see an elf. This is the second time that you as a group have seen an elf with this particular skin tone. And while the skin tone does not match your own, you have never seen an elf or a half elf with anything remotely resembling the sort of dusky color of your skin, apart from the two elves that you've seen here in Barovia. There
Can I
is
tell
a
anything
familiarity with yourself and these two.
Like I kind of want to go up and meet, but I can't tell like what kind of, can I perceive anything from his demeanor or anything that would like, because I know there's like ranks and hierarchy probably.
Give me an insight check. Okay. Yeah, he's really, really hard to read.
Would you mind if I made an insight check as well?
What are you trying to determine specifically?
The nature of why he's approaching us.
Okay.
Like, I'm assuming he's not aggressive, but I just get a feel of his demeanor.
Okay.
Like his body language.
Okay, sure. He is not aggressive. He seems to innately trust you, although you've never met him before.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that you have run into elves like these in Barovia. And has Abe ever traveled outside of Barovia?
I would say so, especially in the company of Madame Ava.
Okay. So you know some general stories about this particular type of elf. They're known as Dusk Elves. They do not exist that you know of anywhere other than Barovia. There are some legends and stories told about them. There are only
Get the rest.
male elves of this variety. Although there are many male and female half elves of this variety. And sort of the story that's told is that somehow at some point in the past, this group of people offended Prince Strahd in some way, and he slaughtered every one of the women of their race. Now, elves are known to basically live eternally. They don't die of natural causes. So obviously, some of these elves have found comfort in the arms of other species, of other races. And that would be where sort of the half-breeds have come from. But they live in Barovia. They sort of do their best to not get on Strahd's bad side. They're not really very well trusted by anyone. Kind of like your people.
I want to tell Abe to let me go with him as backup. I'm like, remember, Abe, we can't go alone.
I mean, you guys are
This
you guys are right there. Like you're all sort of
right there.
there.
Or he's
Yeah.
within earshot.
He walked out into the road. Yeah, he's not that far away.
Okay. So, what are you gonna do, Abe?
He walks up to you, as I said, and he says, "I am Nabu Nazir. My brothers and I have been traveling the mists with some of your kin. We have remained settled for the past few weeks at the Kafla, just north of Vallaki. You know it, of course. The Kafla is a sort of permanent encampment. Serpool would be another one. It's a place where traveling bands of Vistani know that they can come and sort of rest for a few days or a month or two. So it's sort of typically they sort of have groups come and go throughout the year. There's a few of these scattered throughout Barovia. There are Kaflas in other realms as well. So he's talking about a place that's just outside of the town of Vallaki. You're on mute.
Sorry.
No worries.
What did he say his name was?
Nabu Nazir. Here, I'll type it out for you.
He writes in his notepad, is like, what brings you to us, good Nazir?
He nods. Luvash, who leads the caravan with his brother, has been a good host, and we seek to assist him with a cause of great import. You see, his daughter has disappeared less than a day ago, and we have found no sign of her as we search the woods near the encampment. So we search a bit farther afield now. Have you perchance seen a small girl on your travels?
Oh, girl.
What's her name?
She would answer to the name Arabelle.
Abe turns to Zavanis. He
Yeah.
writes his notepad. Was there a girl in the windmill?
Yeah, it was so quick, but there are two of them. I didn't get their names, but it could be the one of the kids he's looking for is trapped in that windmill.
The windmill, the old windmill.
Right. There
Abe writes
are.
down. Or go ahead, Zavanis.
I was gonna let him know that what happened in our encounter, kind of, you know.
Abe writes down, there are 3 hags residing in the windmill. They're taking children's joy and putting it in their food.
I see. Yes, I have heard of these 3, though I did not realize they were creatures of such evil. It is Barovia. What else?
He's like, it is Barovia.
What else should I have expected? Yes.
And Abe clarifies, I can't promise that she's there, but if she went missing in this area, I as a Vasani, I would bet my dice on it.
This boy you travel with, he is from this place as well?
He was sold to the witches and escaped.
They are the pie makers, yes? I see.
Yes, and they put curses on us.
Perhaps he knows the name of the girl. Little boy, do you know the name of the girl that they speak of?
And Abe gets his attention. He's like, points to the boy and then points to his throat and is like,
yeah, they put curses on
Of course,
us.
You
Oh.
boy, the boy is cursed.
You're right, son. Again, we don't know, but he can't speak.
Well, this is a
But-
lead. Yes. What were you going to say, young man?
But we can kind of figure that our colleague here, his loss of voice might be due to these witches, something that they did to us.
You have an interesting accent for a child of the dusk.
Oh, yeah, I'm told that.
Where were you raised?
I'm an orphan, actually. I do not know how to detect my lineage. I was born somewhere on the Sword Coast.
I do not know this place.
It's outside of Barovia.
You come from outside of Barovia, but you are...
Like Abe at this, Abe like turns around, looks at Savanas. He's like, what?
Yeah, we're trapped here.
So Abe would know that people occasionally sort of get lured in some way into the mists and into Barovia,
Right.
but that they cannot leave.
But I thought that Dusk Elves weren't anywhere but Barovia. And that's what he's
That
like,
is your
that's-
understanding, yes.
Yeah, because he like, as far as Abe was concerned, Savanas just grouped up with the other three just like he did. And so when finding out that Savanas wasn't born in Barovia, he's like, Qua?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
an orphan. I don't know any direct lineage.
And to be clear, Zavanis is a half elf.
Yeah,
But definitely has features that Abe would connect with the Dusk Elf.
Right.
The Dusk Elf half elves that he's seen. So that's a very reasonable assumption for him to have made. The man shakes his head like he's not sure what to do with that, but it doesn't really matter for right now. And he says, I hope that you are wrong about the Arabelle. I'm not sure that we have it in our power to handle a hag and her children. But you do not know that it is Arabelle. And well, I must return with this information. He snaps his fingers 3 times and does a high-pitched whistle, and 4 other Dusk Elves step out of the trees where you did not see them before. All of them with arrows knocked on bows. None of them drawn to attack.
Oh, hey guys.
He looks at you, Abe, and he says, I assume you are heading to the Kafla as well tonight. It has been quite a long time since any but my kin and yours have lain their head to rest there. But we can welcome your friends.
He starts writing his notepad. We were planning on going to Vallaki, but I can come to the Kafla.
He looks a little confused. But you cannot go into Vallaki, friend. The Baron forbids your kind entry.
Is there any way do I know of any like secret entrances to Vallaki? Because I'm a smuggler.
Yeah, you know that there are ways that your people can get in and out with a high likelihood of not being seen.
And then so when the dusk what do you say his name? When Nabu says that, like Abe kind of like rolls his eyes and chuckles a little bit, and then he writes down. He's like, "My friend, no place is truly lost to the Vistani."
It is true as you say. It is true as you say. Nonetheless, at the very least, We 4 or 5 have searched as much as we are able today, I fear, and I do not believe we can make it all the way to this windmill to investigate the possibility that the Arabelle is there tonight and survive the return journey. If you do not mind, we would accompany you on the road back.
Abe looks to the rest of the party and he's like, I'm cool with it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And then he kind of lead the way.
Kaylin, did you have something to say?
No, I was just agreeing with going.
Okay.
Can I show something to the group as urchin? Also, I don't know if it'll help since we're going to a city and might actually come into play a little bit.
Sure.
All right. So, did it roll? No.
Yep, it showed up.
Okay.
You grew up on the streets alone, orphan and poor. You had no one to watch over you or to provide for you, so you learned to provide for yourself. You fought fiercely over food and kept a constant watch out for other desperate souls who might steal from you. You slept on rooftops and in alleyways, exposed to the elements and enduring sickness without the advantage of medicine or a place to recuperate. You have survived despite all odds and did so through cunning, strength, speed, or some combination of each.
No, it didn't show the right thing, but it shows that I know secret passages. Like I could detect a secret passage or something. Like, and it takes half as less time to get through to travel through the city. Like it was like the urban sprawl.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking at it now.
That's cool.
Is this feature of an urchin?
I
Cool.
think you should be able to share that feature specifically, but if you can't figure it out, that's fine.
I clicked on it, but it didn't show what I'm looking at.
No worries. It is a description thing.
Joel, can I
It's a
still?
feature. It's
Yep,
a
I
feature.
see it. Oh, I was just about to do the same thing.
Oh,
No worries. You know the secret patterns and flow to cities and can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss. When you're not in combat, you and companions you lead can travel between any two locations in the city twice as fast as your speed would normally allow. So that's not so much that you know secret passages, so much as you understand sort of how cities are built in such a way that you sort of instinctively are able to know where like rooftop options might be, jumping from roof to roof, that the way that cities are normally built, ducking into this alleyway is probably a shortcut to get to where you need to go. Like you just sort of have an innate ability to navigate inside of a city type of environment. Does that make sense?
yeah. So that might help.
It certainly might help.
Okay.
They seem grateful, and if you all are willing, he says, many blades make a formidable deterrent to the creatures of this land, no? And
Right.
leads on. You continue to walk for something like another hour before the forest opens up a bit, and you can see that it closes again as you will continue down the road, but there's a bit of a vista that opens up. And let me make sure it's the correct one here. 1 second. Is that where I want you guys to go? Yes. Okay. And you see spreading out before you
Nice.
this rather large town.
Hey, it's Mount Fuji.
In the distance behind it, a mountain range, foothills, and forests slowly spread to the north. And between the mountains and the town, there is a large lake that sprawls across the space. Abe, it's been a while since you have been to Vallaki, and you don't remember, although you've heard word of it, but there is now a formidable looking 20-foot tall log palisade surrounding the entire town. Flocks of ravens fly above the city, coming to roost somewhere in the middle of town, while other flocks fly up flocks fly down.
So I assume the surrounding woodland's been pretty well reduced.
Within, at least 100 yards of the
Mhm.
city in every direction.
Maybe we should go to the camp for the night.
Like Abe kind of turned and is like, I thought that was the plan.
Oh, okay. That's
Nabu Nazir turns to the group of you and says, we must head home for the night. And again, if you wish, you're welcome to join us. So that you are aware, you have maybe 30 minutes before the gates are closed for the night. And unless you know some other way, even your friends will not gain entry after dusk.
Abe looks at them and like writes down. Well, first of all, he writes his full name because he realized he never introduced himself. He's like, I am Abrahama Argentari, and we would love to enjoy your hospitality for the evening. And gives him a
Wonderful.
note of that.
We are happy to have you. I am sure that Luvash would be happy to help you. Come then. He leads you down toward the town, but maybe halfway between the end of the forest's edge, as you walk out into the field, tree stumps dotting in every direction. Again, it's pretty clear that this palisade is new.
Mhm.
There aren't even like baby trees growing up in this space at this point. There is a small sort of one wagon wide path that heads away from the road, perpendicular to the town walls, and wraps around it from the south entrance, which you were walking toward, sort of toward the east. And he heads in that direction. You walk for a little ways around the city. You can see that there are guards patrolling the top of the wall. A good number of them, in fact. And they are carrying what look like 20-foot long pikes resting against each shoulder as they march back and forth along the wall. Stop.
Wait, so they each have two pikes, or is there?
Each one has a pike, like a 20-foot long
Okay.
pike. Yeah. You can see as you turn and begin to walk away from the main road and away from the south gate, there are also 4 guards standing at the entrance at the gate. The gate is open. There's nobody coming or going at this point. They seem reasonably well armored for town militia. They also all have those long pikes. Luvash continues. I'm not sorry, not Luvash. That's the guy who runs the encampment. Nabu continues to sort of speak to you all about what you can expect in the town. He mentions to you that you should also know, if you're planning on not going in through the gate, the Baron has made a number of changes. Aberahim, I understand it appears you've not been to the lock in quite some time.
Last I was here was before the wall was up.
Yes, things have become more interesting over the past few years. I will say this. Stay on the good side of the Baron while you are in the city. It is not wise to gather his attention in any sort of negative way. He protects the happiness of his people carefully. Obsessively, you might say.
I can tell.
Interestingly enough, part of that protection here in Barovia means that if you are not a member of the town militia or his personal guard, your weapons must either be surrendered at the gate, or if you are willing to pay a fee, they will peace seal them for you.
Do we hear this?
Yeah, he's just talking to all of you.
I want to stash my silver weapon somewhere outside.
Okay. Well, you're currently just walking. You're walking away from the gate right now. You guys are going to a Vistani encampment that's nearby. That's not actually in the town. So he's just sort of giving you guys a heads up.
Okay.
So yeah. I do not know if you are familiar with the peace sealing process or not, but they sort of have a way of wrapping a metal cage around your weapon. Any hilt of the weapon, any sort of sheath of the weapon in such a way as to ensure that it cannot be used without the cage being obviously broken away. If you are found with an unauthorized weapon, you will be punished. It is for your safety, he says. For the safety of all, that the weapons would be controlled. So, I will not tell you what to do, but tread carefully. Here we are. As you round the eastern edge of the town, you can see ahead of you that there is a hill that sort of peaks up above the town. And at the top of the hill, you can see some tents and wagons. At the bottom of the hill, what look to be some almost more permanent structures. Abe, you've stayed here before. So you're aware that it's an unusual place for the Vistani, even more unusual than any other sort of permanent encampment might be, in that there are sort of permanent little cabins here. The Vistani are very averse to anything that feels like they're being tied to one place.
Right.
So it's unusual.
So it's more so like a suburb than it is a camp. It's like a small extension of the city.
Well, it's like a glamping situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could stock on supplies.
Here, I'll move you guys to the scene that'll give you a better idea of what I'm describing.
Since Nebuchadnezzar,
Mm-hmm.
can I ask him, like, you seem pretty well versed in the weaponry and rules. Do you know of any place that we could perhaps procure at this encampment here some weaponry?
Well, if you do not remain well versed in weaponry in Barovia, you die. So yes, we are well versed. I mean, Abe can tell you the Vistani often do trade, but I will say that Luvash's people have not left this place for quite some time. As far as I know, what we have for sale currently, it does not include weaponry.
Okay.
But I am not Vistani.
True. Okay. Well, Luvash's parents, Lavush.
There's two names that are very similar.
Oh.
Yes. So there's Lovush.
Lovush.
And there's Luvash. Lovush is the child. Luvash is the person that you were told is the leader of this Vistani encampment.
Got it. Okay.
Luvash.
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 Okay.
Lovush.
I say
Lovush.
eight.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Monty, can I ask?
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick. I just want to clarify. Do we still have Lelouch is on Kalen, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So, okay. It just gets a little confusing sometimes. Okay, so now go ahead, Monty. Sorry.
I want to ask Abe, like, we need some like weaponry of the silver variety, it seems, if we want to take out these hags. Do you know where in this area we might, like, maybe Abe knows?
He writes down, we already have silver weapons.
Oh, we need more. I only have one dagger. And
do we have any money?
We do have a small pool of items for barter. And what I might also add, that includes at the moment this topaz platinum necklace, which like it's a very expensive necklace. And I have just to let you know, I have a spell that if we rest, I can increase the value of it by double. I could try to.
There's a chance of it, yes.
But I say to Abe, I have a way with bartering. I can make this like Dorn would technically have the thing, like the items on him. Maybe I think he was carrying a lot of them.
Joel.
Yeah.
What do I know about the weapons trade in Barovia?
So people make their way into Barovia by accident occasionally, and they tend to be people that come well armed, and so there's the chance of like finding that kind of stuff. In fact, you know that there are people who've taken it as their sort of job path to hunt out and try to find adventurers who've died and loot their stuff so that they can bring it back for sale. Beyond that, and that's finding those kinds of things is somewhat rare. The only new weapons that really come into Barovia come in through the Vistani.
Right. So Abe writes down, we will find no weapons here. My people are the only ones that procure new weapons. So they don't have like blacksmith shops or anything?
There are blacksmith shops in there's at least of a blacksmith shop in Vallaki, but there are no weaponsmiths.
Right. Okay. Outside of my people, you would be hard pressed to find a functional weapon anywhere in Barovia.
Oh,
especially not in Vallaki.
So, weaponsmith, we mentioned if we find a blacksmith, they could possibly melt our silver coinage and turn it into weaponry and coat it.
He writes, if they know how to make weapons.
Yeah.
It's a lot different from shoeing a horse versus
blacksmiths usually know that.
Making. Well, it depends. Like if you have a blacksmith that makes nails and cups and horseshoes and things like that, and then you have somebody that professionally makes weapons.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So going up to somebody that's like a farrier or something, saying like, "Hey, I need you to make me a great sword. Here's 5,000 silver. Could you make it out of this?" The blacksmith, like the farrier, is going to look at you and be like, "I have no idea what the fuck you want me to do with this."
Yeah.
Or if he does try it, you're going to get a piece of hammered metal that resembles a sword.
Ooh,
we might have so basically in essence, the only place we know of where to get silver weapons is the last Vistani encampment, because we met a guy.
That's the only place that you've seen, or I assume that's the only place that you've seen so far. But Abe has a silver rapier that he didn't get from that, as far as you know, he didn't get from that camp. Okay. Hey Joel, do I know of anybody that has a substantial number of silvered weapons in Barovia?
You do not. You know that having such weaponry is a good way, or at least common wisdom says that it's a good way to gather unwanted attention.
Right.
And you know that silver coin and raw silver is like contraband here.
Okay.
And to the point where no one will accept it as currency unless they are working in some kind of black market trade.
Got it. And Abe writes that down as like, by the way, you might want to keep your area of questioning regarding silver at a minimum.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention. I just talked to him about weaponry. I'm
true.
very secretive about it because I know that law they're very, it's like contraband, and it's illegal. It's illegal.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I will work under the assumption that you two have sort of fallen back to have this conversation.
Yeah, like I would say whispering it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you walk up toward this encampment, it's still very misty and foggy. Okay. And so that is obscuring detail until you get closer. But as you get closer, you see that the permanent buildings at the base of the hill are carved. They're covered in elegantly carved woodwork. They have decorative lanterns hanging from sculpted eaves. They are not Vistani make. The style is not the art of the Vistani. Zavana, something about it calls to your spirit. Oh, he stepped away.
Is it like elf? No, is it like I'm over in this computer? Is it elven? Does it appear fey-like in nature, like from my ancestry?
You can't put your finger on it. It doesn't exactly match any of the elven art or architecture that you've seen on the Sword Coast, but it definitely has strong similarities to it. Go ahead.
Maybe it's the Dusk Elf, because they're only from around here. From like I've been trying to keep up with lineages, and maybe it's a Dusk Elf.
As you walk past two of the small cabins along this sort of small pathway that begins to wrap its way around the hill, and the hill is at least 40 feet tall at the top from the base to the top, you do in fact notice that there are other Dusk Elves sort of standing around near the entrances to these two cabins. At the top, above the fog line, is a ring of barrel-topped wagons that surround a large tent with a column of smoke pouring thickly out through a hole in the top, like there's a large fire inside. It's brightly lit from within as well, and you are approaching true dusk at this point, so it is becoming dark quickly. About halfway up the hill, your noses begin to pick up very strongly the smell of wine and horse and maybe a little bit of urine.
Like being at the crop field again. With the scarecrows. Sorry, Joel, I just gave Imani my phone so he could
That's cool. Can he hear
be
us?
on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Therefore, he can be by his laptop.
You make your way up to the top, and there are a handful of Vistani sort of scattered around the top of the encampment. There's some Dusk Elves walking around through there as well. Considering the fact that it's nearly dark and how many wagons there are, it looks like a lot fewer Vistani than you would expect, Abe. Maybe even half as many. Piled outside the wagon, there are several what look to be wine casks. And then as you approach, you notice that pretty much every Vistani here, apart from the few children, and there aren't many, seems to be drunk beyond a reasonable level.
Right.
Go ahead.
Their party, like festivity, or just seem like normal day to day?
Or do they look morose?
They look like the sort of folks who are drinking to pass the time and not have to think about things.
Oh, it's not a party.
It's not a party. It is very different from the atmosphere that you are used to seeing in a Vistani encampment, Abe.
Abe gets Nabu Nazir's attention, and he writes out what happened to them?
It is a hard place to live, Barovia. Yes, it wears the soul down. I think they have worn themselves a bit ragged, and of course the loss of Arabelle, who was really the only true light here, has made things perhaps worse.
Well,
They're not my people. We are guests here. I cannot speak for them.
So it's almost midnight.
No, it's almost full dark.
No, it's almost
No, in real
midnight.
Oh, okay.
And do we want to get into this with 2 minutes left in the session, or do we want to hold off until next week?
I think that we can wrap up. Let me just say this. As you're having this conversation, from inside the large tent at the center of the wagons, you hear the crack of a whip, followed by the screams and howls of a man. And then again, a crack. And again,
Abe's going to stomp towards the
crack.
tent.
And then you hear a voice, a deep, rough voice. Easy, brother. I think Alexei has learned his lesson now. Yes. We'll leave it there.
Abe's real upset.
Get him, Abe.
Good session?
Yeah.
It was great.
Good. All right, I'll go ahead and stop recording.